I have to give myself a little mini pep talk. I'm like, right, here we go. I'm going to get up now. I'm going to get up off the sofa and go pick that remote up. Fucking all right.
Everything's an effort, though. You know what I mean? I think it's when you become a parent and you're like, you've got to sort of ration out your energy, and you're thinking, how much do I really need to get that remote? does the channel need changing?
I can watch this cookery program. I can watch. I can watch this Hollyoaks omnibus for another 3 hours.
In Welsh subtitles, just because I can't be arsed fucking.
You know what? I need to branch out anyway. I was thinking of watching this anyway. So I don't need to change the channel, actually.
I've been feeling proper. Like, even though I came back off holiday on fucking Friday night, I always think you come back, the first week back's a right slug, and it just feels like someone's rammed a fucking Hoover up my ass and just sucked out all the holiday fun. I just feel like I've been fucking colonic irrigated of holiday fun. It's not been a good week.
You've got such away with words. Someone's rammed a Hoover up my ass. The new single from our kid.
Hoover love.
We've all done that when we're kids. Is that just me? Right. Go on. What have we got from us today? Mate, I tell you what, go on.
I just keep thinking about them, you know, them different like sort of adapters you used to get for your mum's Hoover, and it all sort of makes sense now. This is going to be a good show. You know, like you could get ones like that, and you can get ones.
Don't use that Hoover. You don't know where it's been.
Fuck, you know.
Right. Sorry.
Well,
this is all staying in, by the way.
That's good. I hope they do, because, you know, tears are always good.
Yeah.
Right, so where's Scott? Yeah, I'll do it, because it was sort of my idea that stemmed from a comment, and I apologise. I can't remember who actually posted it, because I've had a bad week and I didn't have time to check the comments. But what it was is someone said, do 50 random questions where you ask each other stuff completely unprepared. So we sort of broke it down to 10 each. So I'm going to ask Jay 10 questions. He has no idea what I'm going to ask him, and he's got to answer them. And obviously we'll spin off from that. And he's got to likewise do 10 questions to me. And we'll, as the podcast started in complete farce, I imagine the following 50 minutes is probably going to go very similar.
And it was like the most simple instructions. It was literally Jay come up with 10 questions. And it like baffled me for about...
What do you mean?
What do you mean? And you were like, 10 questions you asked me about what? About whatever you want. Well, why? We're doing a podcast, Jay.
And maybe people outside of ourselves might find it amusing. There may be someone out there. Whoever it was that suggested it, if this isn't any good, it's all your fault. So you're getting named and shamed for the next
I came up with it anyway. I didn't be over it. Mate, let me just find him. What I wrote down on this piece of paper, right?
Who uses paper? It's 2020.
No, I always say piece of paper. It's notes, don't you know?
Notes. It's very hipster, that fucking keeping.
You know
paper.
Me, Scotty. I'm right hipster.
I'm with it.
What's done with me here now? Why can't I see it? Right. Yeah. Just bear with me, mate, because
I'm liking the little geography teacher get up you've got going today.
I know, man. I don't know why I've kept. You're right, because I'm a bit warm as well. One sec, let me take my jumper off.
Hey!
No one wanted to see that.
Look at that bit of flesh.
Yeah, well, that's one bit that we might just edit out. We don't usually edit. All right, there it is. Right, there we go.
Right, do you want me to start, or do you want to start?
No, go. You got us into this mess, so you can fucking get us out of it.
Okay, fine. Well, let me take us down the rabbit hole then first, shall I? This first question came from the Talking Sopranos podcast that we are fans of. Have you listened to this? Have you listened to this week's episode with Dr. Melfer, Lorraine Bracco's?
No, I haven't. I've seen it on my social medias, and I'm like, mate, I'm fucking well behind on it. I listen to it sometimes, but I need to listen to that because I love Lorraine Bracco and I love the Sopranos, obviously.
I mean, this isn't anything to do with Lorraine Bracco or the Sopranos, but like they have to do advertisements on their podcast.
Yes,
and they have to read it out themselves. And they were having a discussion between Michael Imperioli and what's the other guy's name?
Robert Shapiro. Is it
Robert Shapiro? Yeah. So this week it was about they're advertising shavers for men's balls, and they were having the conversation between them.
Yeah,
have the do you shave your balls? And they're having a conversation about it. So I thought, as we're both Sopranos fans, I put the question to you, Jay Motti: do you shave your balls?
Do you know what, mate? Right. This is mad, but. We had the same live read on Devils. Let me see. Was it Manscaped?
Yeah, Manscaped.
Yeah, we've got the same one, right?
Manscaped. Let me find it.
And God, mate, if the Manscaped people ever find out I've done this, they won't be booking us again.
Well, but just give them a plug now to our 300 viewers.
And Joe Smith, who does. He
looks like a hairy chap anyway, though. To be
fair.
He
does, mate. He was hilarious because he loves a live read, right? He's like the opposite of me. If I do a live read, I'm like, so we've got this live read, and these people are paying us some money to say this.
Yeah.
And have you seen like Bill Burr when he does it?
No.
Bill Burr, like he does live reads where he just takes the piss out of whatever he's meant to be reading. He'll like literally say, "These guys have paid me some money, and I don't even use this shit, and I've never got any using it." But I need the money, and
there you go.
They paid me, and like I think advertisers get it because it's quite funny.
Well, that's what they're hiring the voice, aren't they? They're hiring the persona to push their brand, aren't they? I suppose.
I found.
If anybody out there is looking to advertise Scotty and Motty,
the Manscaped people are looking.
Yeah.
Right, I'm gonna get in so much trouble for this. It's got fucking hell. It's got right. Where's the bit? It says "Do not read." It's just got some right. It says, I can't believe I'm reading this out. I'm going to get so much trouble. It says, do not read, right? But the host to talk about a time when he's hurt his balls whilst manscaping or a funny Manscaped story. Right? Right? And then it's got the Manscaped engineering team. So this is like, they've got fucking NASA scientists on this, mate. Saying it's like crack team working on it. Maybe pardon the pun. I've perfected the greatest ball trimmer ever created and just released the new and improved Lawnmower 3.0 in the UK. Right, honestly, mate.
You've got to wonder what the Lawnmower 2.5 was. If the peak now, what sort of fucking danger was that doing to the balls?
Well, imagine if you've got the 2.5 and you find out they just bought a 3.0, you'd be fuming, wouldn't you? Do you know what I mean? You get home with your 2.5. Look, check this out. Fucking bad boy. Your mate's like,
it's like the wanker who walks into work and he's got the new MacBook Pro and you're still there on the MacBook Air. You're like, what's all this business about? and you whap it out and you're like, oh, fucking hell, look at his bush, look at his edge.
The best thing is, right? He's got a list of things, right, that it does, right, and it's got the third generation trimmer. I'm fucked, right? I'm gonna get sat for this. Not sat. You know, they won't hire us again. The third generation trimmer features a cutting edge ceramic blade to reduce manscaping accidents. Right. One of the they've also upgraded. This is my favorite to a 7,000 RPM motor with quiet stroke trademark technology. What does that mean to anyone? I'm not using a 6,000 RPM like some chump. You better come in a 7,000, otherwise you can forget about it, man.
Like, the only thing I won't go in dirt now that down there that's got TM quiet stroke isn't cutting my fucking pubes.
You know what he's done as well? It's got all these bullet points, and it's got like a charging stand. Show your mower off loud and proud. And also it says at the end, it says, your balls will thank you. Right, Joe read it out right, and I thought he was making some of it up, like adding his own little lines in to make it funny. But it wasn't. He was literally like most of it he was reading, but then he was like doing the whole Brazilian manscaping sort of stick. So yeah, I think they must be doing the rounds, mate. They must be sort of advertising with loads of people, and I'm quite honoured that we got to share the same live read as the Sopranos cast.
It's pretty cool, isn't it? I suppose, yeah.
It won't be hiring us again though if any of them get wind of this.
Yeah. So, have you ever shaved your balls? Has there ever been?
I don't get it, mate. Like, do you know what? When we met actually in Malia, there was a debate. I don't know if you were in it, of like lads that shaved the chest.
Because Peter used to shave his chest.
We didn't meet in Malia. I just said we met in Malia when we were in Malia. We didn't meet there. Yeah. When we were over there, remember there was like, Peter shaved his chest. And do you remember a few of them? It was when it was starting to become en vogue. Like people, that was like the millennial. That was the birth of the millennial, wasn't it? When we were in Malia, that whole metrosexual thing, and like me and you were obviously kicking and screaming from the dark parts of Manchester. We were like,
yeah.
Have a word with yourself, you mug,
Yeah, it was like we've been dragged out of this fucking prehistoric cave. Yeah. Knuckles around the floor, around the pool, like, fucking hell, do you mean we need our hairy chest for this climate? It's 80 degrees, you dickhead. Why are Greek people usually hairy?
Tell you what, if they are, tell you what they need. They need the lawnmower 3.0 with its 7,000 RPM motor with quiet stroke trademark technology. Hey, they'd have a fucking field day, Mally, with that.
That's where they're going wrong, man. They should be doing full-time devils. Don't get it on fucking Greek TV.
Yeah, get it off. Yeah, get us on Greek. I can't believe this is like. I'd say what the Manscaped people are geniuses because they've got people that are even getting paid to advertise it. You know what I mean? We're not getting a bean out of him. But it was one of them, mate. I've not heard that, but yeah, I've seen the references, and obviously we had it as well. But you know what the thing is as well? I shouldn't even say this because this is like trouble. But I'm still waiting for our Manscaped thing they were meant to send us. So I need to get on
like a mod, like you get like free.
Yeah, they send it, don't you? So you can use it to talk about it. But because we've moved studios and offices, I think it's gone to the wrong studio. That is stuff we pretended or we spoke about anyway. But yeah, I need to get hold of it. And Joe, you know what? Joe made me laugh because he went, and he was dead sincere as well. Like he went, when it comes, can I have it? Do you mind? God, you can fucking have it.
Crack on, mate. Yeah.
You have the lawnmower 3.0. It's all yours.
I don't understand the people I know do it usually say it's for the benefit of the woman, but they tend to have big hairy beards. Are you not kissing your missus?
Why is it the benefit of the woman?
I imagine oral sex to you know.
Oh right.
Things stuck in your teeth and shit. I guess.
Part of the adventure.
Oh fuck me! I just remembered the greatest line from someone that I used to work with at OneTel, and he slept with this girl, Geordie, I think he was called, and he said, "I was a sex last night." He goes, "Fucking hell, I went down and it was like 1970."
That was me.
I know it was you. I was trying to fucking say it was Geordie because when your missus catch you dickhead. I know it was you.
I didn't say. I can't believe we're going down this rabbit hole. I didn't say I did that. You just asked me the question, what it was like down there, and and that was my answer. It was 1975.
It was 1975. I remember being in that we were in the lift. I don't know why that's relevant, but I remember the conversation clear as day. And just imagine it being like fucking what was the big club called in New York when everyone had the afros, and just imagine disco balls around the fires and all.
You know what? I was just a horrible person, when I was younger. That's all I'm going to say about that.
You've already spoke about your regrets, Jay. You know, you've left them in the past, mate. You're a changed man.
I'm a changed man, and each to their own. And do you know what I mean? If you want to be like that, the 70s are in vogue now anyway, so each to their own. Yeah, forgot about that. I can't even bind myself up as well. You like Jordan. I was like, I'm sure I said that. And then it just came out of my mouth. I said that. Yes, you dickhead. I'm doing you a favour. Do you know what I mean?
I've tried it once, and it's just I cut myself on my face shaving to shit.
The sort of person to do that.
Just that bored, mate. Honestly, if I'm sort of left in the house for nothing to do, I just like I've waxed my legs and shit like that just for having a laugh. Honestly, or dye my hair or shave my hair. Honestly, I'll just get really, really bored and I think, what should I do? So I decided to shave my balls.
Do you have a diary? Is this what like?
No. This is what it's going to be.
Oh, 3 o'clock now. Do you know what?
I won't mind like there's loads of DIY stuff to do around the house. And what will I do? I'll be shaving my balls.
I'm trying to do that today.
You put the shelf up. No, but look at me knackers.
Look at it.
Can I manscape on that?
You've been using the lawnmower 3.0 with its 7,000 RPM technology. I can tell. How did you guess, love?
Yeah, but it looks like a turkey's neck that had been fucking severed.
Mate, there's no way, right? There's no way. I'm like, listen, I'm not. You know me. I'm not like fucking. Move with the times or whatever. And if it was a deal breaker, then yeah, I'd do it. But no one in our house is asked. So I'm not gonna make an issue where there isn't one.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Even if I got a freebie off the Manscaped, let's just leave that alone.
Who's got time? I mean, you shave your head as well as your face, don't you?
Yeah, and I've had, I've cut myself shaving my head enough times to make me put me off putting it anywhere near me tackle. So yeah, no, that's it. Yeah, exactly, mate. I shaved that and my head. I ain't got time to be doing down there as well. That's just crackers. So no, I'm all right. I'm good in that department.
Okay, do you want to go to your question?
Yeah, mine's so boring now. I might skip through to a better one because the first one was just like a normal, like, what's your favourite colour type thing. Right. Yeah, I'm going to skip to a more interesting one because you've come in with one now that was quite good. Right, if you had to torture someone.
Torture?
Yeah. Torture someone by making them watch a television programme constantly. Fuck yeah. What would it be and why?
It would probably be. Why would I torture them, or why would it be the worst program?
No, whatever. The reason if you're torturing them is relevant. What program would you choose to torture them? They had to watch it all the time, the same program, and why have you chosen that program? All
right, okay. I'd probably say fucking Michael McIntyre. I just can't. I just find. I'm saying that'd probably be more torturous for me because I imagine I've got to be in the room, but I'd have to have aim off. So
you could be like a Clockwork Orange thing, maybe, where you just sort of strap them to something and pin their eyelids open.
I don't know. This person must have done something really, really bad for me to do that to them.
Maybe they mixed your lawnmower 3.0, or maybe they borrowed it without asking.
Oh, can you imagine that in the future if people come round and say, "Can I borrow your lawnmower 3.0?"
Imagine if you get old and it's missing, and you say to your missus, "Where's my fucking lawnmower 3.0 with 7,000 RPM technology?" And she says, "Oh, Trev from down the road wanted it. What is but not son? Said, can you borrow it?" What?
Okay, now.
Yeah, but McIntyre, why McIntyre? He's one of the nation's most popular comedians, isn't he?
Yeah, but I mean, the nation's full of idiots. We voted for Brexit and the tourism, mate. He fucking says it all, doesn't it? I just find him, his lack of, he's just like a pound shop Peter Kay. I just find him very funny at all. I don't know if it'd be very torturous to watch him. It's just probably complete apathy. You'd want to hurt yourself after watching so much of Michael McIntyre. Like if I watch 15 minutes of him, then I'm getting my ass off the couch to get that remote. I'm all right with Hollyoaks in Welsh. Fucking 15 minutes of that twat, I'm fucked off.
Do you know what I think with McIntyre? I think he's one of those people that had, at one point, he had a good act, right? Hear me out before you jump in, yeah? Because I get where you're coming from, I do. I'm not a big fan. But he had, like, say, some good sets, yeah? Like 3 or 4 really good sets, decent sets. You stick them together, there's a show there, like a one-off special or whatever, or live at the Apollo when he can do his job. He could. But when you get past that, when you put him in an environment where it's ad-libbing, where he's just got to be himself, where he's got to just come up with material. Even like, even if he's a guest on a chat show or he was on Britain's Got Talent, I think, or anything like that, he falls short because he isn't that like every man who can relate to other people like Peter Kay is. He hasn't got that wit. He hasn't got. I'm with you. I 100% agree with you. I can't be doing Michael McIntyre, but I liked him when he first broke through and I saw his acts. I thought it's quite funny, like certain things like the draw where you've got all the bits and pieces in and shit like that. And I saw him do a funny thing about Manchester once, which was quite good. But the more I saw of him, the less I liked him. Yeah, he's like the opposite of Peter Kay in that sense. Where, if you ever watched that Peter Kay's comedy thing they put on BBC now and again, where they'll show all various clips of his things, like bits of his films, his chat show appearances, his stand up, and it's all funny.
Yeah, like, he's a funny man.
Yeah, that's.
Do you know whereas Michael McIntyre, it's so scripted, and he sort of built up a persona himself, like I said, out the first sort of couple of things that he's always tried to fit within that mold, and in a way tried to be the posh Peter Kay. But either that or Loose Women. I quite them fucking for the hags on that as well. That fucking do me. I didn't.
I said once we were talking about that on Paddock. And I said, can you imagine if they had like a Loose Women, but a gender reverse?
The other way around. Oh, yeah. Imagine that.
I think it was Joe that said it's called Soccer AM.
which is equally as shit.
It's shit, isn't it? He's right. Because that used to be good. Loose Women's horrible. I fucking hate Loose Women.
Yeah.
It's just right-wing fucking Karens all sat there telling us how thick and shit we are and how horrible men are, even ones that use the lawnmower 3.0.
And what would yours be?
If I had to sit someone down, do you know what I'd make them watch? Right, this is quite specific, but forgive me.
Yeah, we thought about this.
I haven't actually. Do you know what I haven't? I'm not just saying that. I thought it's weird that I wrote that question out for you and I didn't think of my own. I would make them watch The Big Bang Theory without the laughter track. Because
you don't like The Big Bang Theory?
Oh God, Scotty, mate, we were doing so well. We were 20 years in as friends, as close friends, and it's all come crashing to a fucking horrendous end.
She's decent though, isn't it? You put the mute on.
You're all right. I'm not going to sit through fucking 29 minutes of garbage just because there's a girl who's relatively attractive on it.
It's not as bad as Mrs. Brown's, but
no. Well, what's that? You've got cancer. Well, at least it's not, AIDS. What? All right, sweet. What sort of defense is that?
Oh man, I've just been watching fucking
worst show. You put the second worst show. That's a debate. I'll give you that one. I can have a debate on that. Right.
Yeah, it's like, I've not got coronavirus. I've got Ebola. All right.
Well. There's good news and there's bad news. It's like David.
You're just talking about AIDS then, and I've been watching the Scent of a Woman.
Right.
And this is how warped my sense of humor is.
To see the relationship between
So you know where what's the guy who plays who's in it? Obviously it's Al Pacino, and what's the young guy, Chris O'Donnell walks into the shed when he first meets Al Pacino's character, and obviously he's blind, and he goes, How's your skin, boy? He goes, yeah, it's all right. I've been using L'Oreal or whatever. And he goes, I like my AIDS visible. And no. I like my AIDS presentable. And I started laughing because I thought he meant, well, like AIDS must bring out this massive skin. And he just meant like his AIDS is in his support.
You know, mate, that film, I've not seen that film for years, but I never picked up on that before. I'll have to rewatch it and look out for that bit because he's horrible in that, Al Pacino. Anything with Michael McIntyre then? Is it just him?
Yeah.
I don't even know. Has he got a show now? Didn't he do something on Saturday night?
He's just like he's got a fucking residency on Live at the Apollo. Don't you think? He's always on fucking Live at the Apollo.
Oh, right. Yeah, I saw him doing something on.
It's the dancing round. He does all this sort of fucking woo.
Do you think, right? Do you think there's a backlash because he's posh?
No, he's just not funny. I don't mind posh people. Like, if posh people are funny, I love Stephen Fry. He's posh as fuck.
Yeah, that's a good point. No, I know you're not poshest. I just mean him in general. Like, because there isn't it. He's like, I saw a documentary on him, and there was like, obviously, because they stick up for him, they're not going to do a documentary saying he's a twat and everyone hates him. And they were saying that they spoke about there was a backlash And also, like, there was almost a backlash from other comedians who were like, he became like the Coldplay of comedy, where, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that thing of, he might be popular, but a lot of people or a lot of other comedians don't really like him. And someone was saying it because he was like, he doesn't have that sort of working class thing. But I think that's bollocks. I think you're right. In this country, it doesn't matter, you know, like Russell Brand is working class, but the way he speaks is like someone who's, you know, from fucking Eton or something, and he's very popular. And you mentioned Stephen Fry's like a national treasure, and he's like a fucking Cambridge professor, and he who's, you know, sort of wears the fact that he's upper class on his sleeve. It's not an issue. It's just the way he is. So no, I think you're right. But yeah, Michael McIntyre, fucking hell, man. I'd be all right, I think, for about an hour. But after that, I'd be in a lot of trouble. And
I reckon it'd be all right getting waterboarded for an hour. No, but after a while, it's gonna take its toll, innit?
Oh yeah. After a while, you're like, this isn't too bad. Break.
I think,
getting out of the house for a bit. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I was talking about this yesterday about torture. You know, because it's a common theme that people talk about, and we were saying that it's sleep deprivation. I think that'd do me. You know, when you've gone out when you used to drink and whatnot, it's like if you have a bit of sniff, and then you can just drink for fucking days, and then you've not slept, and it's a sleep deprivation in it that's what makes you so minging. Onwards. And I think sleep deprivation times Michael McIntyre would fucking end me.
You've done well. You can combine the two.
Yeah,
keep someone awake whilst making them watch.
Well, that's what you said. Like that. The Clockwork Orange.
Oh please, God, no more jokes about fucking bus stops. Or whatever it is he does. I don't know.
Right, next one. Have you watched? What's the worst household appliance?
What is the worst?
Yeah, what's your worst household appliance?
It's a good one, that.
What do you hate doing in the house?
Oh, that I hate doing?
Oh, they're usually hand in hand, aren't they?
You know what it is, right? It's not even the worst, and it's not that I hate doing it. It's like it stares at me and reminds me of what a fucking fat cunt I am. It's the blender. Because it talks to me, Scotty, when I'm in the kitchen. It says, "Oh, here he is, fatty bum bum, going into the fridge." Again, no intention of getting any fruit out of there and blending it, have you, you fucking mess?
I love how your blender talks like fucking Rusty Lee from 1980s. It is fatty bum.
It is fatty bum bum, sweet sugar dumpling. As I waddle in.
I like it. You know, you got like different ethnicities for your appliances. I like multicultural kitchen.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It doesn't just extend to the family. It's like the appliances as well. The fridge is Norwegian. But no, because we went through a stage when my missus was like, right, we're gonna get fit, we're gonna get healthy, we're gonna do this. So we started doing like blending fruit and stuff, and I started having it for my dinner. Taking it to work, you know, them NutriBullet things.
Yeah.
Got into that, and I was like doing it for about a month, and I lost my derby and everything. But mate, it was just fucking grim. You know, at work, I look forward to my dinner. You know, like
she reward.
Yeah, and it's like I wasn't looking forward to drinking sludge. And I was in a meeting once and I nearly fainted. I was like, I'm not saying this happens if anyone out there's doing that, but I had sludge for dinner, and I'm not like. Obviously done it properly. It's like a bit of spinach in a fucking carrot or something in there. I was like, yeah, there's your dinner, nice one. And I got all week in this meeting, and I had to run to the shop next door and have like a bag of crisps and a Snickers or something.
Well, like you fucking diabetic, like.
I know. It was like an emergency, like get a syringe and sort of inject me with some salt and vinegar crisp because I'm just tired. And like honestly, mate, it was grim times, and like we still got the blender, and mate. Now and again, like I'll make the kids a milkshake in it or something with some ice cream, but I keep saying to myself, like, I'm gonna get on it again, I'm gonna do it again, and I never do. So it gives me dirty looks, man, when I go in the kitchen. It sort of knows it knows I've give up. What about you? What's your goal? I've got to ask you, what's your worst appliance?
I think it's the iron. because it's a pain. Yeah, it's just like a chore no one needs. And I think I actually believe that the iron is the worst invention of humanity, because there's no need in it at all. If the amount of time it takes people to iron, but someone somewhere along the line decided that creases weren't cool. So now every fucker has got to spend nearly an hour added onto his day because someone back in the 1800s or whenever the fucking iron was designed. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise, we'd be all laughing and nobody give a shit, and I wouldn't burn so many shirts. And I don't know if it's a man thing, but I don't understand what the settings are. It's either fucking hot or it's not.
Yeah, I remember. Like, I used to live with my mates for a little while. Him and his missus, and he had a daughter. She must have been about 3, and I was ironing once for ages. And it was taking ages. And I remember her saying to me, you need to turn that light on. And I looked, and she was right. I'd been ironing like... wasn't going through a very good stage in my life. Yeah. Getting really angry. This iron's fucking shit.
Yeah, it's always the iron's fault. It's always the iron's fault.
Shit. Fucking iron up. I've been ironing it for 10 minutes. Go on.
But never taught how to use them. Like, who the fuck taught? My dad never ironed. My mum never taught me how to iron.
So now in this could do an iron, actually. That's probably why I had a jumper on.
So you sort of left to go out, you left to go out into the world alone, unskilled in ironing, and then learn. And this is how you have bad drivers on the road, because they've learned through fucking idiots. If we would have been at school how to use an iron, maybe we won't have these issues nowadays. So I reckon either we bring creases back or fuck irons off. There we go. That's
no, mate, I'm with you. I think the dryer has an iron option. You know?
The dryer.
Yeah, the tumble dryer has like.
Oh, we can tell who's doing well for themselves, can't you?
No, hey, look, mate. Do you know what I mean? It's not.
Fucking hell, got a dryer up there. It's not, you've got a dryer, mate. We've got radiators and washing lines. Fucking hell, 1980s round here. Right. Next question.
Tumble dryer is just a nickname for that I give me missus.
Yeah, I'd say if she watches this, you're in some shit tonight. Do you like your middle name?
No.
What is it?
Oh, it's horrible. I think you've done 2 questions here on the chat, but I'll let you off.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I have.
Don't worry about it. It's the worst fucking middle name ever. I'm sorry, Mum. I'm just upsetting the whole family here. But it's so shit. It's Wayne.
It's my dad's name. Is
it really? I'm so
fuck him. It's a shit name, mate. Don't worry about it. It's a fucking terrible name.
Oh, do you know what? That reminds me when we were picking names for my son. And I was at my missus's, my mother and father-in-law. And my missus suggested Ronnie. And I went, Ronnie? He sounds like the fucking village idiot that eats grass. and Dad went, that's my dad's name. I've just done it again. Shit, sorry, mate.
It's fine. I agree with you. It's a shit name, mate.
I always think I just think my mum just fucking give up. Like, I don't know, fuck it, whatever. Wayne, yeah. It just sounds like a sort of, I don't know, a half-hearted attempt. I'm digging a hole here that I don't want to get into. But my favourite one is my dad's middle name is Reginald. Right? Reg. And the reason it's Reginald, and this is such a man thing to do, right? This is the sort of thing me and you do, is when my granddad went to register him, the woman said, my grandma picked a different middle name. Like he's called, I can't remember what it said. It said Robert or whatever. His middle name was going to be. She picked that. So my granddad went to register him, and the woman at the registry said, "What's his middle name?" And my granddad thought he said, "What's your middle name?" And he said, "Reginald." So she wrote Reginald. So rather than just say, I'm going to admit I've made a mistake. I thought that's my middle name. He kept quiet because he thought, I'm so bad.
Just that polite.
Yeah, I'm too polite. So my son can just have a fucking different middle name that neither me or my wife chose for the rest of his fucking life. That's what he did. And then he went up to my grandma and went, There's a bit of a thing.
It's a bit of a thing.
We've gone with a different one. And she was like, well, what are you on about? It's like, I got confused. My dad's called middle name's Reginald, which is the same as my granddad's. Which is fine, obviously, nobody gives a shit. But go on, obviously, what's your middle name? And hit me with it.
My middle name, my middle name's Lee, L-E-E. And the reason behind it is because they couldn't think of anything, and my dad went through his Bruce Lee phase, so he was banging to Enter the Dragon and all that sort of shit around the time I was born, early 80s, and just thought they called me David Lee, but that's I know, but I went through this fucking weird phase where I thought, you know what I need to do? I'll hyphenate it. So like I started putting applications thinking David Lee. And then was like, oh, that's nice, isn't it, David? Is that what they did? Your parents? I said, yeah, they hyphenated it. I don't even have any explanation as to what I was trying to achieve by hyphenating my name. I've no idea.
Got an application here for Dave Scott. Not interested. Fuck him off. Got one for Dave Lee Scott. Get him in. Get him in now.
Yeah, but that's quite funny. It might be down to that because when I used to put my CVs, I never used to put long site on. I used to just put Manchester in the postcode because they might have had that problem. Right. It might have come from that. But yeah, so he was banging to fucking Bruce Lee and shit like that. But my dad's name's Wayne, but he was registered, his birth certificate is David Wayne, but my nana has this fucking weird thing where all her kids go by their middle name rather than their first name. It's like my uncle's called Troy, but his real name's Dominic. And then my aunt it's like bizarre sort of, I don't know.
Jeremy Corbyn tackle that, innit? Don't he do that? That is, yeah.
I don't know. She's still with us. We won't pass any judgment.
I've insulted enough of your family by questioning the name Wayne, so I don't want to go down another one.
No question.
It's my turn to ask you a question, isn't it?
Yeah.
One sec. Let me find it. Right. This is a sort of semi-serious, not semi, sort of a little bit serious one. But you've lived an exciting life, and recently, you've done a lot of things that most people would admire and find interesting. So, what's been your best pinch me moment?
Oh,
because I know you've had a few where you've been, you know what I'm on about, where you're like, fucking hell.
All right, okay. So, over the last 4 years, if anyone doesn't know my career, I've sort of had a bit of a take off regarding poetry and music and stuff, but probably being stood on Old Trafford, on the pitch at Old Trafford and getting filmed. And then on one of the shots, it was on the derby about the Manchester derby, and he said to me to reenact this. I felt proper. I said reenact the Wayne Rooney thing where he stands like that on the fucking. And that's right. I look like it's it. And there's people getting a tour around Old Trafford, and there's got me and the film crew, and they're all looking at me like I was someone famous. But then my arms kept going back. They're like, no. So all they're seeing is from a distance, this fucking young lad in his bright red jacket keep going, like with them like a fucking, remember them action figures? The fucking like the wrestling things. It's like, kept doing this.
Mate, like, I am jealous though, because that is decent. It makes me laugh as well, because I may as well fucking, you know him on about it, but like Steve, who I work with, he got the chance to play. Do you remember that game they had at Old Trafford? You froze there, mate. Oh no, yeah, you're back now.
You keep breaking up. Yeah, you're there.
Yeah, you froze. Yeah. You're all right. One sec, mate.
Yeah, can you see me?
Yeah, you keep freezing.
Should I start again?
Yeah, you're all right now. You're all right now. No, you're all right.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
Sorry. It just makes me laugh because Alson, who we both know, he had the opportunity to play in a charity game at Old Trafford, and he's a massive United fan. Playing Old Trafford, and he found out someone was on the other team that he didn't like, so he didn't go.
I love that. A man's got to have a code.
He was like a once in a lifetime opportunity, and he was literally like, "If that cunt's going to be there, I'm fucking not." No. So he didn't go.
Is it a famous person who didn't go? Who are we allowed to know who it was?
We don't need to go there. I think you can connect the dots.
Oh right, yeah, I probably got
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is a decent pinch me moment, mate. That's fucking mint, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it was good. How about yourself? Because don't play yourself down. You've had a
No,
decent,
mate,
you know.
I'm not, you know, I'm still I'm like you. I'm a Mad United fan. The first one I had, and it still stays with me now. It's probably the biggest one. Was probably interviewing Brian Robson.
Yeah,
one of my first ever heroes, and I remember I did it a few times, and I think it was just like, is this really happening? Am I getting paid to do this?
Yeah, that I've done that nearly every day for the last 5 years. I'm pretty much. Like, are you really paying me for this? For my opinions,
to let me stand near him. I would give you money if you just said, "Jay, go and stand near Brian Robson for half an hour." So to interview him, and then for him to be such a nice guy as well. So that way for just it was meant. I've had a few like that with a couple of players that I've been fortunate enough to interview and stuff, and I've never interviewed Fergie, but I've been at the press conference with Fergie and stuff like that. And it's just when you're there, it sounds like you just think, "Fucking hell."
Yeah.
Mate.
Just an interesting side note on that one is that when you were talking about Brian Robson sort of living up and being a nice guy as you'd hoped him to be on TV, and I was saying, like, obviously a friend of mine passed away this week, Tony Morris, and he was, when you've seen people in the public eye on TV, and it's for me, it's been very rare that anyone sort of lived up to the persona that they carry themselves with on television, but he very much did. And I've met a lot of people who have this great persona, but then off camera, they're absolute fucking wankers. So I was just wondering, the flip side, who is it that you've met that has been a big letdown?
No, and just to add what you say, Tony Morris was a lovely guy. I didn't meet him a lot. I know you were friends with him, mate, but no, he wasn't. A great example to anyone in news. You look at not anyone in news anyway. I don't want to say that, but from a personal thing of a young reporter, journalist, and a lot of the people I know, sort of similar circles to you, were always saying that he was a guy that would reach out and help you out. And an example, just an example. That's how it's done. And also, you know what? Despite what people may mistakenly believe, you don't have to be a twat to get ahead in news, and he showed you that. Someone I've interviewed or whatever who was just a dickhead.
Yeah, so you were sort of looking forward to it, and then they really let you down. Like, sort of, anybody?
Do you know what? I've been quite fortunate in the sense that I've never really had an issue with anyone who I really admire. The closest I would come to it, and this is a bit of a weird one, but I'll explain it, was Ed Miliband. And I'll tell you why. Because me and you talk about politics quite a lot, and I'm more of a Labour voter than I am anything else. I vote Labour. There's times when I've not voted for anyone when I was younger.
Yeah.
But when I do vote, when I have voted pretty consistently recently, it's been for Labour, and I'm a Labour I'm not a member of the Labour Party, but that is the party that I associate myself with the most, and the one that I vote for. And I interviewed Ed Miliband, and it wasn't that he was a bad guy. He wasn't. And this sounds harsh, but this was sort of when he was in the opposition, leading the opposition. And I remember thinking, there's no fucking way this guy's going to win.
Yeah.
He's not got it in him. He's fucking clueless. Do you know what I mean? And I take no pleasure now, because it's easy to bash Ed Miliband. Everyone's a fucking idiot, can't eat bacon signing. And some of that shit that he got was just irrelevant and nonsensical and harsh. Do you know what I mean? It was, deep down, I don't think he's a bad person, but there just was nothing about him. And I've interviewed a lot of politicians, you know what I mean? I've interviewed David Cameron, Jeremy Corbyn. I'm not going to name, keep naming them, but a lot of them, I've always sort of seen something in that makes me realise why they get elected. And why
they've got that in them, yeah.
Like, even the ones I don't like, I can sort of get it. But with him, I just thought, mate, up your fucking game. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm relying on you to get rid of these twats who are in government. I want you to win. And, and right from the offset, because I always judge someone by their handshake, not completely judge him, but, you shake someone's hand, you get a good sort of grasp. I remember shaking his hand, and he sort of took his hand. He shook it, but then took it away dead quick. I just thought, fucking hell. Bit rude. And then his answers were shit. And I was giving him, like, open goals. Like, this government is shit, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? Like, those sort of questions.
Well, they might not be. There's some good sides.
You could say that. Well, I am saying that, and they are. You know what I mean? Like, all these Sure Start centres around here are shutting, and there's thousands of young mums who are suffering because of it. And we spoke to one who's on the brink of suicide, and now you're going to help her. Oh well, this is what I need to do. Yeah, I know you need to do it. How are you going to do it? Just sort of like paraphrasing as to the situation.
Yeah.
But it was that sort of thing of like, this guy's not going to win. This guy's not up to it. This guy should have let his brother do it. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying
that's true.
I'm not saying David Miliband was perfect, but he would have fucking had a better chance of winning, and the country would have been a better state with him as prime minister than it was after all these Tories. But yeah, mate, he was just dead underwhelming. He just wasn't up to the job, and I knew, I thought, and I interviewed him quite early on in his leadership, not long after he'd beaten David in the election, the Labour election, and I just thought this ain't happening, and it wasn't, and it didn't. Do you know what I mean? And Labour's sort of not really recovered, has it? If I'm being honest, that's not all down to him, but so yeah, that was one for me.
Cool. Go on, your question.
Right. Here's one. This is for you. Talking sort of in the same vein. I wrote this down as something different, but I'm going to ask you this: what's the worst gig you've had and why?
Oh, the worst gig I've had.
I was going to say worst gig you attended, but you do gigs, and I think it's more interesting to say the worst gig you've ever had and why.
Okay. The word these two, but the funnier the stories is probably in Atherton. No, it wasn't Atherton. I think in London. We were supporting. I think Tony. Remember Tony McCarroll, the Oasis drummer? So he was doing So he was doing a Q&A with the Oasis podcast guy down in London. So we drove all the way down there, and my stomach's been feeling off. Like I was proper ill all the way down. I'm thinking, I don't know. I couldn't work out what's up with me. I didn't have a temperature, or I was sick, and we were doing rehearsals, and I jumped around, and I just thought it was a bit of wind. And I've ended up just fucking shitting me kecks just in sound check. And I didn't tell the band don't know, and they'll only know now when they're seeing this. I don't know. I've not ate anything that was particularly funny, but fortunately the contents of the boxer shorts didn't leak through to the jeans. So I sort of squirmed off to the bog, and then just made sure I'd emptied everything before the actual gig, which was a weird gig anyway, because my music's quite hip-hoppy punk sort of thing, and everybody who turned up for this were Oasis Ikes and fucking Fred Perry's, and then they've got this they're expecting this kid to be all Oasis tribute band, and I'm going on fucking rapping and stuff, and they weren't impressed. But all I was concerned about was not standing in front of them and having shit dribble down me leg.
I didn't expect that. What are you going to say? I did a gig where I bombed. They got the wrong address. They thought they were coming to the opera, and they got me. But, mate, that's funny, that because I had a similar experience the other week. I was out jogging, and I thought I was going to get caught short, and I literally just about made it in my house. And I was thinking, I was out like where I run around the back of our houses. When I come out of it, you come to more houses, and this was near more houses, and I was in my shorts, and I thought, I'm going to be on like the fucking Earlham and Caddy's Head Scum Watch page in Facebook. That's what they've got, this page where they just hammer people who were doing wrongs around the area. I thought I'd be on there. But no,
picture you like a fucking...
Yeah, you know what? I know what it'd be, but I've just seen some black guy running down the road with shit out of his pants.
But I you know when they always say you should take more risks when you're younger. I just think they mean like letting you just can't run the risk when you get to a certain age.
Yeah, 100%. That's quite okay. Mate, that is good. Honestly, you got away with that one. Right, yeah, sorry.
Is it me?
Shit. It's you, I think.
Right, okay, next one. So, what should we go for? What's your biggest regret?
Oh, mate, I think I've got the same question for you here, actually.
That's fine. We'll just do tandem.
My biggest regret. Do you know what, right? I'm not going to burst into fucking Frank Sinatra and, regrets. I've said it, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. I always think, me and you just got to go back and, better than anyone what I've been through, and there's things that I've done. And I always think they've led me to where I am now, and I'm happy where I am now. So don't, even the mistakes I've made.
Yeah. No, I believe that sort of thing.
So I get that. But there's times when I could have been nicer to people and I think, do you know what it is, right? I think just as a youngster, this is quite generic, but it's true. I think there were certain people that, what it is like when you're a youngster, it's peer pressure or it's fucking ego or it's just arrogance or it's just stupidity. You just don't give certain people a chance. You don't want to know certain people. You don't try and get to know him.
For no reason at all.
For no reason at all. They look different. They're funny. They talk funny. They dress funny. Do you know what I mean? The
Scousers.
The Scousers, well, that's fucking hell, mate. So, you know what I mean? But no, do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I just think, like, little things like that. And there's that. And this sounds crazy, right? But there's this thing that I always think about a lot. And because I have this reputation of arguing with people on Twitter. I don't know where it's come from. It's obviously it's fucking stupid and it's right, it's wrong, and
Well, Twitter's full of fake news, Jay. I won't buy into any of that. Yeah, fake news.
But I remember once. This is mad, and it's not my biggest regret, but it's one that I think about now and again. Because when people say to me like, "Oh, you argue people on Twitter," I say, "All right, fair enough." And so you're a troll, and I think I'm not a troll at all. Like I'm not. There's a difference between arguing with someone and being a troll. But I remember arguing with this Leeds fan once, and I'd tweeted something about when I went to Ellen Road, I got racially abused and spat at, and she's coming at me, we're a prawn sandwich brigade. And she had a picture and she was a big girl, and I made a comment about her weight, laid into her about sandwiches and stuff. And I just look back and I think, you're a dickhead. Like me. You know what I mean? Like, because she wasn't going down that road. She was talking about football and you try to be fucking funny and clever, just being a knob.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, I don't know, it still sort of stays with me now. I always think like when I'm on social media, you just got to be better than that, because there's a difference between arguing with someone about football or whatever or politics,
and then picking them apart for a personal reason.
Like, listen, I mean, I will call someone a fucking dickhead on Twitter or whatever, or are you for real, you thick twat, or whatever. But there's a difference between that and then being nasty and just showing your own lack of intelligence. Well, that's all.
Yeah. You're better than that, Jay. Yeah.
But it's just so she wouldn't argue me by me being a fucking thick twat, because I couldn't, I just rushed in and was like judging. I'm not anyone to judge anyone on any weight or anything, and that just like sort of stayed with me now. And I know that might sound crazy because some of the shit I've done is a lot worse than tweeting someone something about the weight, as you know. But it's just sort of stayed with me, and I just always have that little reminder of there's a difference on social media between arguing with people and criticizing something they've done that you don't like, and them just being nasty and mean and them. And I think I try and sort of remember that.
But isn't that a positive then that you did it? Because if you didn't do it, do you think that maybe you might, you sort of came to that juncture where you realised you were wrong doing it, so then you sort of stayed away from it? Had you not have that self-awareness, you may have carried on. You know what I mean? And then you may not have had the career that you've got now.
You make a good point, and there's no, it sort of fits into what I was saying before, the mistakes that I made of the regret, and I've done some things that I look back and I think, Jesus wept, I think the one regret that I will say is the shit I put my family through.
Yeah.
Like years. And I always say, fuck, if my son is like me, do you know what I mean? I said, you'd have been within your rights to just delete my phone number and change the locks and have nothing to do with me. But she said it always you'd come good. And I think that, you have to sort of hold your hands up and say that's a big regret. But again, it's led me to where I am and I'm making up for it now, I'd like to think. So, yeah. What about yourself, mate? What's your biggest regret?
Well, my biggest regret, I don't know if it's a regret as such, but it's something, it's a point that, like you've seen the film Sliding Doors, obviously with Gwyneth Paltrow, where, if she gets...
Embarrassment, I have,
Yeah, I mean, it's about like serendipity. So if she gets on the train, then she doesn't catch her husband at it and stuff. So I always wondered what my life would have, because this moment sort of was the fork in the road as to where my life was going to go. Now, it actually stems from when I got back from Malia after me and you had been living up in Greece for the summer. I actually, I was offered a job at Thompson's as a travel rep. Have I told you the story?
I don't think you have, mate, no.
Right, okay, so because I loved this, because I loved like living in Greece and stuff like that, I thought, you know what, I'd love to fucking do that for a living. So went through the application form. I had to go down to London for the interview, and then got offered the job. And they offered me a job as a travel rep. Going to fly me out to Tenerife. I'm going to live it up in the Canary Islands. I'm thinking, here we go, Malia Part 2. I got on all with the rest of the travel reps, and had a big leaving party. And then got on the National Express all the way back down to London to get a flight from Heathrow. And then I was sat there talking to all the management, and they said they were talking about handing out uniforms. And I said, what do you mean? And they said, well, the uniform that you've got to wear as a travel rep. I said, nobody mentioned this in the interview. Yeah, yellow chinos and this blue shirt. And I said, I'm not wearing fucking yellow chinos. So they said, what do you mean? I said, I'm not. They said, well, it's part of the uniform. I said, well, and they went, well, how about yellow chino shorts? I said, that's even fucking worse. So I said, I'm not doing it. So I got back on the National Express after having this big hoo-ha and farewell to my mum and that, and then got back at home. And then the following week, I was walking through town, and I was walking up John Dalton Street, and my missus is walking down Deansgate, and I bumped into who would be the future wife and mother of my 3 children. So if I didn't get on, if I was into yellow chinos, then I, you know what I mean? I always wonder what my life might have been like had I got on that plane.
Yeah, you know what, mate? As Danny Glover says to Mel Gibson in Lethal Weapon, you really are crazy.
It's been noted a few times. But
yellow chinos. You can get paid to go live in fucking the Canary Islands and drink beer and fucking do whatever you want for most of the day. And it's like, nah, mate, I'm not wearing them shorts, man. You're not.
Yeah. They couldn't believe it. They thought I was on a wind up. I had to go to London 3 times to get through the interview process to get the job.
That's like, I've got the winning lottery ticket, but I'm not walking to the fucking newsagents to cash it in. Fuck that.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what I mean. It's like a sliding doors. So it's not a regret. Yeah, but that's what I mean. It's like all roads lead to Rome, don't you know? I wouldn't have all this amazing life that I have now. But I do always wonder what the Gwyneth Paltrow that wore the chinos sort of went on, and what happened in that life.
It's a good one, that, mate. Yeah. But it's good. It's worked out very well for you. Right, let me have another look. I'm trying to think.
How many have we gone through now? Because I think we should do it around an hour, and then we got more questions.
One more each, right?
Yeah. All right.
In fact, I'm going to do 2 because one's very quick.
Okay, go for it.
Right, the quick one is this. I've nicked this, by the way, off Andy Mitten on United v Stand. So if Andy's watching, I don't think he will be, but you know, I've nicked it off you, and I admit it. And check out United v Stand, United fanzine. But he always asks this question when he does his podcast, and I love it. And I thought, I'm going to nick this. If you had, you might have heard it before, if you had to be shagged by a horse and no one knew, or not shagged by a horse and everyone thought you had been, which would you choose?
Oof. I could live with everybody. Everybody thought you got shagged by.
Everyone thought, that's your 2 choices. Everyone thinks you have been, but you haven't, or no one knows you have been and you have.
Is it like a thoroughbred horse? Is it?
What?
Is it like a donkey on Blackpool Beach?
You know what the weird thing is, right? We did this on a podcast in Norway, and you know our mutual friend Steve Armstrong.
Yeah.
Named a horse that he would be shagged by. He had a horse that he knew. I think it was Frankel or something. It was like if it was that horse, I'd have it. It was like it made a difference to him, and he was being sincere. He was like, if it's Frankel, because he was such such a thoroughbred, and you know that's like, you know, you can't pass up that opportunity, almost sort of thing. Everyone was like in bits, mate. Honestly, it was hilarious. But yeah,
I imagine you. I don't know. It probably hurt. Probably. But I reckon it hurt. I don't see. I don't really give a fuck about people's impression of me or what they think. So if people thought I banged horses, I don't think that would bother me so much. So I don't know. Fuck it. I'm not shagging a horse, mate. No. Or having a horse shag me. Was it the horse? What was it? I giving it the horse?
The horse shagging you, I think. You get shagged by the horse.
I've seen that film. That's not a good way. That's not a good one.
And do you know what? These people are like, you know, people might fear you. There's that guy, man. Oh, don't mess with him. So I mean, you can.
He's no such, and I imagine like you get a book out of it. You know, a good press. You know, like,
you'd be fucking sat in Ramson's when you wrote it. But yeah,
if it's one of Mick Quinn's horses, you know.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a skeleton, wouldn't it? Nicely done.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was the nonsense. I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna end on a serious-ish one.
All right, go on.
And I'd say, you know what? Should we take family out of the equation? But what's been your proudest moment?
Fucking
So I've done you a favour. You know,
right, so no wife or kid, no kids
or
shit like that.
You know, or the moment all my kids was sort of sat around the table after we'd had them all or whatever. No, take family out. I know you're a proud dad, and you know everyone knows that about it.
All right. The proudest moment was gambling on myself and my talent after years of being a shithouse and not really having faith that I could be a writer or a freelancer, and having the I still like can't believe that I walked out of a job, and you'll know because I spoke to you and said I'm going to be a poet, and then you know to do that, and then actually to do that as one would be, you know, to have the balls to do that. I'm quite proud of myself, and then to make a success of it, you know, I think that, and that's what I always try to go around workshops now and talk to young kids, is that you don't need to, a lot of the pressures and fears that you have are self-built up, and that's the sort of thing that you have to go through a massive unlearning of these obstacles that aren't really there, that they're actually in your mind. So just basically saying to yourself, if you don't fucking do it, you're going to regret it for the rest of your life. And then actually going in and handing my resignation in like this with a shaking sheet like that. I'm going to quit now and I'm going to be a poet, and then coming home and telling my wife after the act.
Yeah, okay. What I always get confused when I tell these stories. I love telling this story. How many kids did you have at the time?
I had one and one on the way. She was 8 months pregnant.
I remember being stood in the newsroom at Q103 and talking to you on the phone. And I remember we not spoke for a little while, and you told me, you went, "Oh yeah, I've quit my job. I'm going to be taking up poetry." But you started the conversation. That was it. I think you said like, I was like, "How's the family?" You're like, "Oh yeah, you know, I've got a kid on the way and all that." And I was like, "Another one on the way." And I'm like, "Yeah, nice one, mate. Fucking hell." And you went, "Yeah, anyway, I've quit my job, and I'm going to become a poet."
Yeah. And
it was that like 5 seconds pause. I was like,
where's the punchline coming?
Yeah. I realized you were serious. And then I was like, "All right, nice one, mate. You know, good luck at that. Yeah, you know, you've got way with it. I'm sure you'll smash it and all the rest of it." And I remember putting the phone down and sort of saying to myself, "He's lost the fucking plot." He's got him. I don't know what he's been smoking, but he needs to come off it. But no, mate, listen, I'm proud to call you my mate, not just for that, but for many reasons. But no, I always buzz when I see how well you're doing, and you've worked hard, mate. You have. It's not easy. Do you know what I mean? To start something new. And it is.
No, we both done it. But the thing is with me and you, I mean, we can talk about our personal life in a different show, as though we don't open up anyway, but is that we seem to have been a very similar sort of trajectory in terms of we sort of went our separate ways and went back to university, and it's 10 years this year, isn't it, since we graduated from university, both of us.
Yeah, that's madness.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. And then we both went there, and then we both like ended up into radio in different sort of angles, and now we both sort of work for ourselves and stuff. It's a very similar sort of roller coaster
trajectory, and I think similar sort of ups and downs along the way as well, which has sort of helped us, and having a mate along the way who's been through that has helped me, because you've been able to, talk about it. I remember when you was at uni, and you know, you're a little bit younger than me, but was similar age, and it was like talking to you about you getting on and being surrounded by people a lot younger than you, and you know, it was good to have someone who knew it as well. Where did you go to uni? Was it
Nottingham?
Nottingham, yes. You moved away as well. You know, I went down to that there, London. So yeah, it was good, man. And like, no, it is. It amazes me, because like I still get that buzz of seeing you doing stuff like on the telly and like.
Oh, cheers, man.
Yeah, I do. And I know you won't like this, but I'm going to say anyway. Like the other day, when it was obviously an emotional time for you when Toni Morris died, and the tribute you did was just amazing. And you know, everyone was sort of mentioning it on social media, and you nailed it. You did, and I know it's not easy to do that. And you put into words, and I remember watching it, thinking, he just, that's amazing, brilliant the way you did that. Do you know what I mean? It's like sort of it reminded me a bit of like that. That line in The Wire where McNulty gets sacked, and they have like the wake for McNulty, and it's like he say, if someone ever killed me, I'd want you to catch the body. Do you know what I mean? I'd want McNulty to be the one. And I was thinking, if I want someone to say a tribute to me, it'd be you, mate, because you've got away with words, and it's just great to see the way you do it. Do you know what I mean? So I know you don't like
thanks a lot,
but you deserve it, and you hit the nail on the head with that, as you often do.
Cheers. Well, I'm not writing your fucking obituary to any time soon. But before we go, what's been your proudest moment?
Sticking to my own thing, because family, obviously, there's loads there. I think. If I can break it, right? If I can break my own rule, can I just?
You make them, and you can break your rules, mate.
Yeah, because I want to say something, right? Because like, I've got 3 kids, right? And your son calling you dad, my daughter calling me dad. It's par for the course, and yes, it's great, but you expect it. But I think my proudest moment was, when I met my missus. She had a little girl who's Lily, who we've still got now, who obviously at the time had a dad or a father, if you can, whatever you want to call it, who was sort of in her life. But I think he's not in the picture anymore. And I always tell everyone I've got 3 kids because I have. But I think that moment when, because she used to call me Joss, and then it became Daddy Joss, and then when it became Dad, that's when it was like, do you know what I mean? It's like that was probably from a family point of view. And that's not say I prefer one kid over, I don't, but it's just that moment you think, you know what?
Yeah.
That's affirmation as well, because I come into this as being a bit of a fuck up, and it's like I'm not just responsible for myself anymore. I've got other responsibilities to live up to that. So that was a pretty shit sort of moment, and taking family aside, just fucking sort me head out. Just the fucking just not having to duck down when a fucking policeman goes past. Do you know what I mean?
I still do that. I still carry that guilt of doing fuck all, but the siren flashes, I'm like that. Or if someone's up on the ladder fixing the fucking BT line, I think it's FBI. I always think the bug in the house. I smoke far too much weed. Smoke past tense.
Yeah. It's like I've done that when a policeman has approached me just walking down the road, and I think, I shouldn't even say this. I think, what name am I giving here? If you stop. What name am I giving? You're giving your own, dickhead, because you've not done anything wrong. I'll think, right, yeah, I've got that. What's that thing I had?
How good would it be if you could record the end of conversation between your head? Because that would be fucking brilliant. What name are you giving? I'm fucking.
What's the name I had? That was known and not wanted. I had a name. What's that date of birth, that address I had? Fucking hell.
Jesus Christ. Right.
That's a nonsensical thing. You're an idiot. You can give him your own name because you're not doing it. Stop being weird. Those days are long gone.
Oh, man. Well, we both know, everyone knows his name is Jay Motty. I've been David Scott, aka Scotter, and that was a blast, man. I thoroughly enjoyed chatting shit.
Remember that was who did that comment. We'll dig them out and find them.
Yeah, and we'll give you a tag in the biog and stuff. But I think we'll probably keep doing these. So if you watch this, obviously comment, share, subscribe, tell your mates, or throw random as fuck questions into the comments, and then we shall pick them out and then just riff or go down any sort of rabbit holes. But as ever, thank you everyone who has been watching. Proper laugh tonight. I had a good laugh, man. Good laugh.
And as always, thanks everyone who supported us and sharing, liking and subscribing. I've had a few messages and stuff. People I've not spoke to for years who've been listening to us, which is great.
Yeah, and don't forget the is it called the Manscaped trimmer 3000 is available.
3.0 with its 7,000 RPMs is available, and also me and Scotty are available if the Manscaped people are watching for live reads.
I would quite gladly, chop my bush for some cash to fund this YouTube channel. I'm just putting that out there. Manscaped sponsor me.